Before we dive in, make sure you're subscribed if you enjoy real-life drama stories like this. I never imagined that a single notification could turn an ordinary evening into something I'd remember forever. My wife, Laura, and I had been together for 7 years, married for 5. Like any marriage, ours had its flaws, but I always believed we were grounded in trust, honesty, and calm conversations. That belief was about to be challenged in a way I never expected. I had just wrapped up work and settled into the living room, trying to unwind, when my phone lit up. A video call. Laura's name appeared on the screen. At first, nothing about it seemed unusual. Friends, family, maybe work. It could have been anything. Still, something in my chest tightened, a quiet instinct telling me to pay attention. I answered without announcing myself, keeping my voice low and my movement still. What I saw made my stomach drop. Laura was on a video call, yes, but not with anyone I recognized. She was talking to a man I'd never seen before, and the way she interacted with him crossed a line immediately. Her laughter was soft and familiar, the kind I hadn't heard directed at me in a long time. She leaned toward the screen, touched her hair absent-mindedly, and smiled in a way that felt personal, intimate. I stood there frozen, my mind racing to catch up. I told myself there had to be an innocent explanation. Maybe I was misreading it. Maybe it was nothing. But deep down, I knew better. That familiar pressure settled in my chest, the kind that comes when trust starts to crack. I didn't confront her. Not then. I'd learned long ago that reacting in anger only gives away control. Real power comes from watching, waiting, understanding. So I stayed where I was, unnoticed, observing every detail, every pause in her speech, every shift in her expression, every laugh that felt too easy. She seemed comfortable, too comfortable, and it hurt more than I expected to realize that she hadn't looked at me that way in months, maybe longer. That's when something clicked. This wasn't spontaneous. This wasn't careless. She believed she was safe. She believed I wouldn't see it. And more importantly, she had forgotten something about me, something that would change how the rest of that night unfolded. I stayed still and let the call continue. Laura didn't realize I could see reflections on the screen. She didn't realize I could tell where she was sitting, which side of the desk she was on, or pick up subtle details about the man on the other end. Years of living together teach you patterns, habits, angles. And I had always been someone who noticed details. Suddenly, the past few weeks made sense. The hush phone calls, the unexplained delays, the excuses that sounded reasonable on the surface but never quite fit. I hadn't pushed before because I wanted certainty. And when the moment came, I wanted to decide how it would play out, not let rage decide for me. She laughed again, leaning closer to the screen. My heart was pounding, but my face remained calm. I didn't interrupt. I didn't announce myself. I simply watched. The truth was undeniable now. And with that clarity came choice. Quietly, I reached for my laptop and mirrored the call onto another screen in the living room. The shift was instant. Laura's smile faltered. Her laughter died mid-expression. Her eyes flicked toward me, and panic flashed across her face before she could hide it. In that moment, she understood. The comfort she'd felt seconds earlier vanished. I didn't move. I didn't speak. The room felt heavy, thick with unspoken realization. She had assumed control, assumed privacy, assumed I was unaware. And now all of that was gone. Her posture changed. Her voice tightened. Her movements became careful, deliberate. She was suddenly very aware of herself, of me, of the mistake unfolding in real time. The humiliation wasn't public. No one else needed to see it. The damage was internal, and far more powerful because of that. She stared at me, fingers hovering uncertainly over the keyboard. She didn't know whether to end the call or pretend nothing was wrong. Her mouth opened, but no explanation came out. I stayed exactly where I was. I didn't accuse her. I didn't demand answers. Silence did the work for me. Every second that passed forced her to sit with what she'd done, with the knowledge that she'd been seen, that her assumptions were wrong. After a long, uncomfortable pause, she finally ended the call. The confidence she'd carried so easily was gone. The charm she often used to navigate situations, to deflect or soften consequences, had completely disappeared. For the first time in a long while, she understood that I wasn't blind, passive, or disconnected from my own marriage. I stood up calmly and walked to the kitchen to get a glass of water, leaving her alone with her thoughts. It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about punishment. It was about drawing a line, about showing that deception, no matter how carefully hidden, always leaves a trace. Later that night, when we finally spoke, there was no shouting, no pleading, no dramatic confrontation. Just a quiet, heavy conversation shaped by the understanding that something fundamental had changed. Trust had been damaged, boundaries had been crossed, and neither of us could pretend otherwise. That evening became a turning point. Laura would never again assume I wasn't paying attention. And whatever direction our relationship took after that would be built on the awareness that I was present, observant, and unwilling to accept dishonesty. In the end, it wasn't anger that made the impact. It was restraint, observation, patience. Sometimes silence says everything words never could.